Hey boys and girls, welcome to another super exciting, outrageous toy review. Today I have a very special toy to take a look at. I'm looking at the Star Wars X-Wing Ghost playset. The Ghost is the VCX 100 freighter that is used by the Star Wars Rebels team to fight the Empire in the Rebels TV series. This is an adaptation of that for the X-Wing miniatures game. We're going to open this up, take a look inside, and talk a little bit more about the Ghost freighter. Let's take a look. Now that we have the Ghost out of the package, let's take a look at some of the great stuff that comes in this package. The first thing you'll notice is this Ghost miniature is absolutely huge. It definitely looks like it's to scale with the Millennium Falcon and the Outrider, because the VCX 100 is supposed to be bigger than those. So I really like how they adopted the cartoony look from Rebels to the X-Wing miniatures game. We get this massive ship, and it's the first time we ever get to see this big supportive base. I don't think that any of the other vehicles of this size have had anything like this. It's cool that you get to see the assault shuttle on the back just like it is in the TV series. And just all the detail from the bottom to the top of the ship just looks great. The other thing I want to mention is it's nice that the ship is elevated enough that even stacked on the double base, it doesn't impact the shuttle, or it won't impact TIE fighters or X-Wings or anything else you have. Moving on to the gameplay of the Ghost, we have some really cool things. The bombs include both the Connor net and the cluster bombs. And also there's one that I haven't seen before, and that's thermal detonators. So it'll be cool to use them. I don't normally play with bombs, but it'll be cool to see them in the game. The Ghost stats are really interesting for an X-Wing vehicle. Stock, it has no evade, but it has 6 shields and 10 hull. So it's going to be this very durable ship, but it's also going to be very vulnerable to attack. Some of the cards address the vulnerability in some cool ways. The first card that I thought really addressed the vulnerability of the Ghost was the reinforced deflectors. Basically, if this ship takes 3 or more damage, it'll get 1 shield back. So that kind of helps. And then the pilot cards, the personnel cards, really round out the capabilities of it. I wouldn't want to play with, say, the Lothal Rebel VCX 100 card, because just having this basic card isn't going to let this ship shine. But if you have someone like Hera makes the ship incredibly maneuverable, which is really great, being able to do multiple moves and being able to really dodge and react. Basically, what she has is if she gets a certain maneuver, she can on the fly change it to any other maneuver of the same size. So if you were making a left turn, all of a sudden she could be making a right turn. So that adds a little bit to the survivability. Chopper, it's interesting. This is our first droid pilot that we've seen, other than I guess IG-88, being able to give each enemy ship touching it a stress token. That means that if this big base gets in contact with a bunch of the enemies, you could definitely be giving them a hard time. Kanan has what has really become like the force power effects. All of the force sensitives have been able to modify dice rolls and do things like that. Having the ability to have enemy ships roll 1 fewer attack die is excellent. This is an excellent ability when they're at range 1 or 2. So it'll be cool to see Kanan, and it's interesting that he comes in at fewer points than Hera, because I really think that the Kanan ability is the good one. Unique ships, unique pilots have never really become a huge issue in X-Wing, because If you had Darth Vader, Darth Vader was going to fly the TIE Advance. He wasn't going to fly something else. Because this is Rebels and you see the different pilots fly the different ships, you got to keep in mind that if you put Hera on the Ghost, you're not going to be able to use Hera on the attack shuttle. So there is some overlap there. I think Hera is the only one where that comes into play. So be careful when you're building these two ships together to make sure that you're not using one of these cards. Like Chopper is a pilot, but he's also a personnel card. Same thing, Ezra's a pilot, but he's also a personnel card. Hera is a pilot, but also a personnel card. So is Kanan, so is Sabine, and so is Zeb. So while you're using the Rebels team, you really got to say, am I going to make this person a pilot? Am I going to make this person a personnel? What am I going to do? And both of the ships have personnel. So it's going to become this thing. Even though this is a very tiny fighter, you're going to have personnel on it, which is really cool, having a small ship with that ability. So moving the team around is what's going to add to the strategy of this. The other thing that's interesting is this ship actually docks with the Ghost. So there's different mechanics about how this can undock. There's special docking rules that are different than the normal docking rules that make it easy to rapidly launch the assault shuttle. So a lot of cool strategies can come out of when you launch your assault shuttle, how you use the assault shuttle when it's docked. I think it adds to the attack if you have the Phantom title on it. Phantom and Ghost titles are really the titles that allow for that strategy, but it's really awesome, and I want to see some great upsets because of it. Overall, this is a huge package for X-Wing. We've had the Slave One, we've had the Millennium Falcon, single ships. Here we get a large ship with a unique base and support system. We get the small ship, and we get an interrelated system. I'm looking forward to reenacting a lot of the cool Rebels things we've seen in the series in the X-Wing game. So I was really excited that I would get to see these and review these. There's a unique scenario in here that you could play with, and there's some scenario related pieces. So I'm going to play the scenario as well as include this in my standard X-Wing games. I just wanted to say thank you to Fantasy Flight Games for providing us with this to review. We really enjoy X-Wing at SEO Toy Review, and I'm really happy that we had the opportunity to take a look at this a little early. Thanks for watching this super exciting, outrageous toy review. Please make sure to like, subscribe, check out our other videos.